Hi there, this is Rebecca Tripp talking about Outwitting the Devil again today. And this is chapter 4 called Drifting with the Devil. And this one is the eye opener. This is where he explains why he could never publish this book while he was alive. He starts to really have a conversation with the devil. Now, you can think of the devil as an energy, an entity. The devil explained in the previous chapter, he's not in physical form, but he is able to take over the minds of humans. Up to 98% of all the people on the planet can be controlled by this negative, fearful energy that seeps into the mind if you let it. The only people he cannot operate with are those who can think for themselves. And he explains how he takes over the minds of the masses of population. And he doesn't really want to share this information with Napoleon because he says he will lose millions of people that have been born and even those who have not been born yet if the secret gets out as to how he operates. But Napoleon insists on him confessing as to how he does it, because Napoleon's not afraid of the devil. He's found his other self. He's had this rebirth experience where he's stepped into his inner power, which is what I like to teach people, how to find your inner power. And because of that, he just wants the devil to explain to him how he manipulates all these people. And he goes on to do that with Napoleon, reluctantly, because he knows Napoleon is not going to publish this book. And this is the reason why. The devil explains that there are two major secret principles by which he gains control of the minds of humans. One of them is by working through all the authoritarian figures that humans come in contact with as soon as they're born. People like their teachers, their parents, all their relatives, even the towns they live in, the countries they live in, are all programmed to believe a certain way, to teach people how to conform, how to share the beliefs that they have, because it just seems natural to teach children your own belief systems, even though they may be based on false principles. We, like sponges, when we're little children, just pick up on everything around us, and we begin to take on the beliefs of those that have come before us and those that are teaching us. And that's how our minds get programmed. And there's a lot of fear involved. There's a lot of dumbing us down. There's a lot of keeping us under control. When you think about how the school systems operate, children are not necessarily taught how to find their burning desire when they're young, so that they can make plans for when they get older to pursue something that really sets them on fire. Many times they just have to take in all sorts of information that's irrelevant to their own liking or their own appetites, and sit there and absorb it. And it's teaching us how to not think for ourselves if we're put in that kind of environment. He also goes on to talk about how spiritual leaders who like to preach fire and brimstone and put the fear of God in people and make them think that there is a hell that they're going to go to if they're not obeying and living the way they think they should be living. And that fear can be the driving force that operates throughout a person's life, gives them anxiety, gives them stress, makes them always feel like they're not good enough or they're not doing the right thing. And it affects the mind in a way that you're unable to think clearly. And he gives a lot of really big examples about how he creates these drifters. And unfortunately, the majority of the population, he has said, 98%, are drifters. And if you want to break out of this and realize that you can think for yourself, you need to do that work on yourself. And if you can figure out how to reprogram your subconscious mind, which is where everything that's running your life happens to reside, and there are techniques out there that you can plug into, you're going to be a lot happier, and you're going to be able to tap into other realms of consciousness where you can get the guidance that you need and live a much happier life. But as he explains in this book, if he had published it back in his day, the devil tells him, and he knows it because his wife tells him also, you cannot publish this book. It will ruin us. Napoleon realized that it would be banned from the classrooms. It would be put down by the churches. It would be criticized in book reviews, because people don't want to know that they're being manipulated and programmed. It's too painful sometimes to try to figure out how to break out of that. So it wasn't published back in his day. It came out about 7 years ago when the family finally agreed to let it be published. But it will blow your mind to find out how this controlling, negative, nasty thinking that seems to run so many institutions and people that are living on this planet operates. It's a real eye-opener.